All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Sunday. Today we're going to be updating you on the 2026 class because there is some movement there. Darius Gray's going to be dropping his top 5 teams at some point today. Hayes Fawcett had an article that came out yesterday that basically told us that Tennessee did make the cut, so that's very positive news. I don't know when he's going to be choosing a program. He said maybe after the football season. Is that still true? We'll find out hopefully here pretty soon. But yeah, Tennessee's probably in a pretty good spot to land the #1 guard in the whole country. And also, NIL is going to be changing. I think that it's going to be benefiting Tennessee. I also want to show y'all my top impact freshmen for the 2025 class. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's start right here with the 2026 class rankings. These are updated. This is from On3. And the top 5 programs is still the top 5 programs. Georgia and Alabama, we'll be talking more about them here in just a minute. But let's scroll on down. Tennessee's moved down to number 14. I think that we were at number 13 previously. So Florida State's been over us, but Florida's the team that actually jumped us. They added 1 or 2 players yesterday, and we talked about this previously, that they have less players, but their average player rating is higher than Tennessee's. This column here that shows you all of the 3-star players in each class, Tennessee's at 10. That's the strongest indication of what your class is going to finish like, because if you come back up, the only other team that has 10 3-stars that's ranked over Tennessee is USC, but they have 31 total players. Most of these teams will probably be close to 30 players total. Some of these programs like Oregon, they never add too many players. LSU, they're pretty low, so who knows? But they're ranked over Tennessee because look at, only 3 3-stars here, only 4 3-stars there, mostly blue chip caliber for all those programs. So that's obviously why Tennessee's where they're at. Now, as far as Tennessee's floor, I could see us dropping possibly as low as number 16. Looking at Penn State, they have 24 players currently. If they add 1 more 4-star, I could maybe see them jumping Tennessee. If they add 2, for sure. If they add 1 more 5-star, for sure, they're going to end up jumping us because, again, the average player rating is going to go up. And that's what helps you out. It's either have a high average player rating or, you have a whole bunch of players in your class. Also, Texas is probably going to end up jumping Tennessee too. They still have several players left on their board. They're pretty much targeting like blue chip caliber guys at this point. Now, a lot of things can change with this, y'all, because some of these players are going to have different ratings and all of that. It's typically not the most positive movement for Tennessee's players, but we do see some big jumps once everything's all said and done. So is the staff doing a good job of going out and finding talent? I think that they have so far with previous classes. This class is probably going to be no different. Now, as far as Tennessee's ceiling, top 5 is going to be, it not only has to go perfect where everyone that we've talked about, Tennessee lands them, but also some guys that maybe Tennessee didn't talk about. But top 10, I think, is pretty feasible because right now we're seeing that the number 10 program has an average player rating of 90.11, and they have 20 players total. I think that they'll probably end up, again, close to 25, probably over 25. So they'll keep on moving up. You can't just look at these programs and say, well, this is where they're at. Tennessee's going to add more. Like these other teams aren't also going to be adding more. Everyone's going to add more, probably outside of SC. Most of the teams will be adding more. So anyway, I think that for us to get to top 10, a good kind of like aiming point would be an average player rating of a 90.2 with 25 or more players. I think, really maybe 27. That's probably where we want to aim once it's all said and done for us to make it to the top 10. So wanted to start things off there and just show you how things are looking. But let me also show y'all this, man. I want to move on over and talk about NIL. So this is a tweet that came out yesterday from the guy that has all the inside information with this type of stuff. Everyone knew heading into this new thing with the college sports mafia after the House settlement, where the college sports mafia sent this memo out to all the Power 4 teams that had to sign off on it, saying that they would go by the college sports mafia's new made-up rules and laws and all of that type of stuff, where the donors and boosters, they can't be a big part of NIL. They can still, you can still get NIL deals through those people, but it can't be like high dollar, like 6 figures. That's just not going to fly. So there's been so much pushback, with pretty much everybody saying, hey, this has to get changed. So this was huge in me seeing this yesterday, where some of the lawyers that were part of this House settlement, they reached out to the college sports mafia and they said, y'all got to change that language, that memo that y'all sent out, that guidance. We never signed off on that. Y'all totally made that up. So how quickly will the college sports mafia change it is my question. They're going to have to change it. And if they don't do it quickly, then they're going to be right back in court. And then they can get sued, right? Not by the schools and the institutions, but by somebody. Somebody's going to end up suing them. And that is where the problem has always been at. this has got to go to a CBA. It's such common sense at this point. But either way, how does this help Tennessee? Well, number one, I think that this is going to get changed probably before the season starts. So Tennessee is a team that is going to be, I would call it top 10 as far as like NIL, like Spire Sports is top 10. We have big time donors and boosters that will make sure that we are on par, at least top 10. Would I like for us to be top five? I don't know that we're not. But if we're not, yes, of course, you want to be top five. You always want to be number one in everything. But teams like Georgia, teams like Alabama, they don't have those big time donors and boosters. Now, they've had some good classes. It's more based off of what they've done on the field previously. Alabama took several steps back last year. Georgia's been taking steps back. They don't look like the juggernauts that they used to. So while the players will choose to go to those programs because, NFL opportunities is definitely there, winning championships and stuff like that, not there as much. But as those two programs continue to kind of be like, once they come more down to earth, which is where I think that they're trending to, with the way that these rules are now going to change, where the teams that have the big time boosters and donors are going to end up landing more players. I think that with average talent, they're going to have average teams. Tennessee has had relatively average talent, and we've had great teams. So it all benefits us. I just think that this is going to give us a step up over them, especially schools like Georgia. That's big for Tennessee because all of the talent in the state of Georgia, if those players aren't going to UGA, now they're going to look at Tennessee more closely. So this class could actually end up finishing even stronger. And like we talked about, to be top five, I feel like we had to go out and add some players that we might not have really had on our radar that maybe already chose some different programs. Can we flip them from teams like Georgia and Alabama? I'd say hell yeah. But teams like Texas, teams like A&M, right? Like some of these, Michigan, right? Like those types of programs, they also have really big NIL donors and boosters and things like that. So they'll always be up there. It's still going to be good competition. But, that's two less programs that I think Tennessee has to worry about now that this is going to get changed sooner rather than later. And that should feel like a very, very positive thing for all Tennessee fans. Now, let me also show y'all this. Let's move on over and let's talk about my top 20 impact freshmen for the 2025 season. I could have added more people up here, like, all of those Jaden. So Jaden Lofton, I think that we brought him up to play at strong side, and he's currently listed at 255. So pretty good size. He could probably get some playing time there, but that room's just really deep. If we can move him over to Leo, where we don't have quite as much depth, P and I talked about this yesterday, we've got a good top three, but who's the fourth guy? I can see Jaden Lofton cutting down to about 250, 245, gaining a step with his speed and being a really good option for us as that fourth Leo, and he'll see really good playing time. So I could see that with the Jaden linebackers. P and I also talked about this yesterday. At 210 and 215 pounds, do we feel confident, or does the coaching staff feel confident that they'll hold up in this league, actually getting to go out there and play at linebacker? Now, P also talked about Notre Dame having linebackers last season at like 215, 220-ish, and they beat the brakes off of Georgia, right? And I think that maybe the staff could feel like, hey, we can replicate that with more speed. I feel like 220 should be a good aiming point for those freshmen. If they're at 220 about the start of the season, then yeah, they should be able to see the field and do some nice things for us, but they still need to get bigger as far as I'm concerned. Whole point here is we know that Georgia, right, last season, they were basically pass first. They didn't do a good job running the football. So you could probably get away with having more speed out there at backer for pass coverage because their running game just wasn't all that. They're going to try to change it this season, so it might benefit Tennessee to be bigger, stronger at the point of contact and slow things down. But also guys like Ethan Utley, right? He's listed at 270. Is that accurate, or is that just not updated? At 270, you're not going to be able to really play tackle in the SEC. I think that he would have to get up to at least 280 before he could see the field. If he gets there, then yes, he's probably going to play. If he gets up over 280, 285, 290, I think that not only will he play, but he'll play very well. So I had to highlight those guys, all of the running backs. They're going to get the opportunities. All the wide receivers, all those guys will probably get some opportunities. So here, I tried to kind of order this. It's basically splitting hairs, though. But I would say David Sanders, number one freshman impact player. He's got to have a great season because it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's going to be starting at right tackle. Next, I have Merck, and Merck is a redshirt freshman, so there are some redshirt freshmen up here too. But Merck, he could be our starting quarterback, right? It's still an open competition. I feel like fall camp is going to be so much fun, but we'll see. Even if he's a backup, how let's just say, if Joey gets to start versus Syracuse, what if he doesn't play well? I mean, Merck's got to be ready. So he's going to be a very, very big impact player for this team. There's a lot of guys that are young that are going to have to step up. And this is positive because we've talked so much about we want to see Tennessee play these younger guys more. That'll also help us land more highly rated players in the 2027 class. But then I've got Edwin Spillman, who's listed as a redshirt freshman. And I'm not sure. It feels like he played in 4 games last season. It might have been less than that. But if he played in 4, then he wouldn't be a redshirt. On Tennessee's roster, he is listed as a redshirt. But either way, he's going to be Tennessee's probably third linebacker that comes in. So he has to have a very, very huge season. But I think that he's ready for it. Braylon Staley, he's going to be our starting slot guy. He's going to have a huge breakout season. Jesse Perry, offensive lineman, 5 for 5 guy. I think of like Dane Davis, but just more talented. I think he's going to be better than Dane Davis was, but he's going to be huge. He could maybe even get to start playing at right guard. Jordan Burns, that's another linebacker. He should be the guy that comes in to spell Arion Carter. He's at 225-ish right now. I would love him to get up to about 220, or I'm sorry, I would love him to get up to about like 230. That would, for me, make me feel better. But either way, I think that he's going to have a really, really big year. He's going to have to. Sidney Walton, I actually could have probably pushed him up even more because he's one of the only true safety bodies on this roster. If he figures things out as a freshman, y'all, it's going to open up so much where we don't have to, borrow from our corner or, like from our star room. And, maybe guys like Boo Carter could play more offense for us just because we've got more players that, maybe don't have to come in and help us out at safety. So he's going to have to really step up for us. And then Sat, man, I think that if he gets to start at center, Tennessee's offensive line would probably be at its best because you have David Sanders starting at right tackle as a true freshman, first-year guy. You want a veteran next to him playing at guard, so if Sat can get the start at center, then that means that Pendleton can start at right guard, and I think that will just help us out, but we still have really good options there. P and I talked about that yesterday. Travis Smith, man, at wide receiver. He's one of the only true just like outside threats on this team, 6'3", 210, wearing Jason Swain's old number. I'm expecting that he's going to have a really huge year. And then we have at number 10, Jack. I think that Jack would probably be, if Miles Kisserman doesn't start week 1 versus Syracuse, which I think that, Miles will probably end up starting. But if he doesn't, then Jack is going to be starting next to Ethan Davis. We talked a lot about that 12 personnel for the first couple of games. He's going to have to play a lot. If nothing else, he's going to be the number 3 tight end this year. So he's going to see a lot of playing time, especially like in jumbo packages, like red zone packages. But he's a guy that we know he's physical and he can run routes. We can use him, and the other tight ends is kind of like gadget pieces. Then we have Marcus Gorey. He could play outside corner. He could play at star. He could play at safety. So I don't need to say too much more about that. He's going to be huge for this team. And then Campbell playing at tackle. Is he really at 282, or were those, sizes maybe not updated for some of our players? I want him up over 290. If he is up over 290, not only will he play because he's going to have to play either way, but if he's over 290, he's going to be, I think, a very, very good option for us, just kind of coming off of the bench. And then Tyler Redmond, love him playing at outside corner, but he could also play at star and safety. Very similar to like Marcus Gorey. So don't have to say too much more on him. I think he's going to play a lot this year. Marion Dobb, he could maybe also move up on this list. We haven't seen him in spring, but if he's healthy, he's going to be a major, major impact. I'd probably put him top 5 because he could play strong side end, but he could also play at tackle for us. If he's up over 280, 290, watch out, right? Like if we've got these freshmen that are at like tackle playing weight, dude, this defense, I have no more questions. Obviously safety, still kind of a question, but I feel like we're going to get that figured out. I would have no more questions, and the defense is going to be probably top 5. All right, and then we have Jefferson. I would say that these top 15, these guys really should be the biggest impact players as far as freshmen. But Jefferson, coming off of that hip deal, he's at about 6 feet tall, 207. Think of like a Golden Tate, ultimate gadget piece. You could use him as kind of like a running back and just everything. So him, Braylon Staley, and also Boo, those 3 guys would be probably like the biggest gadget pieces on this team. Expect a lot of fireworks from those players with a different scheme and, just some changes there. And then we have Brame, obviously tight end, gadget piece, all that. He's going to get to play a lot. Great athlete. Ra Jackson, listen, 6'2", like 207 or something, or 210, whatever it is. Dude, we got to get him on the field. I think all of our wide receivers need to see the field some. Keep on rotating them. That's a good way to keep them fresh and also get them ready for like end of the season stuff whenever it's crunch time. We need people to understand how to play out there. Who else we got? So Cole Harrison, again, tight end. I think he will be more maybe like that third tight end. If we go to like a 13 personnel, that would be kind of like jumbo or goal line. I think that that's more of his game, but he can run the routes. He can catch the passes. I actually think that he runs really, really good routes, and he's also physical. So looking forward to that. Bennett Warren is like a swing tackle. If Jesse Perry gets to start at right guard because Sam Pendleton got to start at center, or if it's Sham Umarov, either one, Bennett Warren, he's going to get to play at one of those tackles, whether it's right side or left side. And then Max Anderson, he could play at center. He could play at one of the guard spots. And I think that he will see the field some, this year. So looking forward to it, man. Tennessee's going to have to lean on a lot of very, very talented youth. It doesn't change how I feel about this team because I've known that coming into this season. But I just wanted to kind of like put this out there so that y'all could see it. But those are my thoughts. Please share yours with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.